Welcome, everybody. It's another good day in the neighborhood. How you doing back there, Johnny?
Doing good.
So how you liking this almost spring weather?
Pretty good. I like it. This is like, we're trying to identify that bright glowy thing there up in the sky. I think they call it the sun.
The sun.
I haven't seen that in about a week. Yeah.
It'll be out before you know it.
Not soon enough.
Not soon enough. So I want to welcome my guest today. I have Miss Bella Hayes. And Bella has been on the show before. She is a pro wrestling manager. And, you know, it's bad that I don't know the name of the new group.
That's okay.
She was with the other group, but now she's on today, and we're going to talk about this new adventure in her life. So welcome, Bella.
Thank you.
And tell me first the name of your new group.
The company I'm with now is Universal Wrestling Alliance. For some reason, I keep wanting to say United Wrestling Alliance, but it's Universal. Universal Wrestling Alliance. And if the locker room has anything to show about the name lines up. There's everybody in that locker room. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's black, there's white, there's Asian, I don't know what some of these people are other than human and
right.
American, but some of them, we have the rainbow there. It's a mixture of people.
So it's really universal.
It's really universal.
I call it the Rainbow Coalition.
It works for me.
So how has it been going? And I know that you working, this group is out of Saginaw.
Yes.
So how's that been working for you?
Some days my minivan holds up on most days. I have a bit of a clunker. My father says, careful with your Maypops, and praise God, the tires haven't popped yet.
You must be old school, because my dad used to say the same thing. I got them Maypops on the car.
I better knock on wood.
They will ride those tires until they slick.
See, yeah.
Okay, we're going to keep knocking on wood for you. So now, with you being so mild-mannered and quiet, how did you get into wrestling? Which, you know me, I'm the wild child. When I come to the events, I'm all over the place.
Well, some time ago, Father Time was here, and he was talking with you. And I have to say, out of everybody in that locker room, him and Mikey Miller, they definitely hit it on the head when they described me. We were sitting in the ring one day, and we were talking about different characters. And so I said, okay, Mike, if we had to go with a cartoon character to describe our personalities or who we are or what we're like, you would be the Hulk, right? He said, no, that's what my friends say of me. I'm like, okay, well, who do you say you are? He said, I'm the Green Lantern. I'm like, okay. And so I'm thinking, I'm the Invisible Woman, no doubt. But I was going to give Senator Bill Don John a chance first. I'm like, okay, well, who are you? And he said, I'm the Invisible Man. I'm like,
oh. He just took your person.
I'm like, oh no. And so I'm like, okay, and so Mikey Miller said, you remind me of Catwoman. And I thought about Halle Berry in that movie, how she was this mild-mannered and she was respectful to everybody, gave everybody respect and was nice to everybody. And then when her boss was getting on her nerves, she was drawing this ugly picture of him. And then finally she just stood up and she just opened up and just unleashed on him verbally. And then she went back to being this mild-mannered.
This little mild-mannered person.
And I'm thinking, okay. And then Father Time was here one day, and he was saying how Bella Hayes reminds him of that character in Police Academy. I think her name was Hooks.
The little girl with the one with the little voice?
Yes, yeah. Please freeze.
Right.
Please stop. Could you please stop? And then when it got to be the riot in the show and everything was busting loose, they weren't listening to her. And finally she said, freeze, dirtbag! And then they froze, So Father Time said that I reminded him of. So in real life, kind of, that's
who you are.
Basically, I'm a real quiet, real mild. I don't even like to eat spicy food because it upsets my body. I like everything tranquil. I like everything running smooth. But there are times I'm a mother. and I can be sedate, but if somebody messes over my child, I mean, it's the same in nature. You don't mess with a lion's cub.
Right, right.
So I can be sedate, I can be tranquil, I can be peaceful, but don't mess with my baby. And I'll be friends with anybody. I'll be nice. I'll show respect to anybody. And I'm there with a friend. I'm there with an associate. And I'll be there with my associate or a church member or whomever. And if somebody, I feel they cross that person that I'm with in the wrong way, I am a friend.
You have their back.
And that's it. I will try and stay sedate, but I will snap. I will flip the script sometimes.
Now, what is your character with this group? Because you were like, you know how people switch. Sometimes you're a good manager, sometimes you're the evil manager.
Yeah.
So what are you in this group?
I went in and I was a good girl. I mean, everybody loved me. I came in and everybody loved me, and I'm with the righteous Reverend Christopher Saint, and he started doing some things, and the crowd didn't like it, and I'm a friend, and so I stayed by his side, and I have not left his side yet. And they really don't like some of the things he's doing, and I'm a friend, and I am going to stick by his side and be his friend until the crowd likes him again, or if the crowd never likes him again. I'm going to be a friend, and I'm going to stick by his side. And if they cross me too much, or if they cross him and I feel it's too much, this little lady, at 5'2.5", I will become the equalizer against those 6-foot men. I will do it.
My goodness. Now, being a manager, have you thought of being like a wrestler, actually getting in the ring, or is that something that you just say no?
You know, they had talked to me about it when I was with the other company, and I don't know when I had my interview with you, if it was before December or if it was after December, but I had got in the ring and I started trying to learn some things, and then the people who were training me, they got busy, and life was chaotic for them, and they couldn't continue with my training. So it's like, you know what? I always wanted to be like the lovely Elizabeth anyway, and she didn't get in a ring, and she didn't get in there and sweating and getting in mud and gravy and crap. She was a real lady. So that's what I wanted to be, and that's what I'm going to stay. I had started training, but it fell through and things didn't work out. So it's like, okay, fine, I'll stay a manager. I'm happy as a manager. I get to wear my hats and my jewelry, and I get to wear my cute clothes. So I'll stay a manager.
And that way you don't have to go in there and break a nail.
See?
You don't have to slap anybody.
Well,
you might.
I've still been slapping people. I got up to Universal, and there was this prisoner.
Uh-oh.
And he's Alcatraz 187, and he just, oh my goodness, he got on my nerves. And so I slapped him.
Oh my goodness, you're supposed to be a church lady. Now, church people don't slap people, do they?
I'm a church person, but I'm not good at it. I am not perfect. I am not Jesus. I have a temper, I guess, like Peter. They came to get Jesus to take him away, to crucify him. And Peter got mad, got a sword, and chopped off somebody's ear. Oh. So, yeah, it's in the Bible. Read it. So
I guess.
It's in the Bible. He
Take off an ear.
He took off the man's ear. And so Jesus. I
thought that was Tyson and Holyfield.
This is old school Tyson. Before Tyson. And so Jesus had to heal the man's ear. And then they let him off to judge him and all that stuff. But, yeah, every Christian's not perfect. I mean, let's think about it. Thomas, he was the doubter. I mean, they said, Jesus been here. Yeah, right. Until I see the nail prints in his hand and the holes in his side, I'm not believing anything y'all say. So, he was a doubter. Thomas, Peter chopped the man's off. Moses killed somebody. And they were building that stuff to Ramesses or whomever. And he saw this man beating a fellow Jew, and he got mad and said, why are you beating him? And he got mad and killed the guy and hit him in the cement. Oh! He got rid of the body. So
I kind of like that one.
And that was Moses before he got the children out, and then he led them all through the wilderness into the promised land. Before he could get them out, He killed a
He
man.
had to kill somebody.
He killed somebody, and then he thought, oh no, I'm going to get caught. So then he hid on the backside of the wilderness till everything cooled off, And then he went out there, and then he got the children of Israel and got them out and led them to the promised land and all. Yeah, everybody's not perfect. Rahab, she was a harlot. That's all I'm saying about that. I am not like Rahab, okay? So everybody who says they're Christian, they're not perfect. Everything in a garage is not a car. So what I say is there's practicing Christians and then there's label Christians. There's people who will take on the label of a Christian, but they're in the club Saturday night. That's why they late for church Sunday morning,
Well, duh. I got to close the club down.
See? And then there's the people who pray and fast, and they pray and they read their Bible, and I'm trying to get like one of those. I want to be good. I want to do what's right, But I'm still, if I'm a friend, I'm going to be a good friend.
But you want to keep those wrestlers out there in check when they come across this little 5'2.5" woman.
I'm not taking it.
You got to put them in check.
I am not taking it just because I'm 5'2.5". I'm not. Have you seen that movie, The Revenge of the 5'2" Women?
My sister's about that tall.
They have a movie out. It's The Revenge of the 5'2.5" women, or 5'2" women, I guess. They got Lorena Bobbitt in there.
Oh no!
They have Tanya Harding in there, and they have a couple other people, and those women are 5'2" or 5'2.5".
I didn't know all that. You heard of that, Johnny?
I vaguely heard that movie, or that piece, yeah. But yeah, they were small. By the way, that Lorena Bobbitt, her husband John Wayne Bobbitt, my dad grew up with that guy as great uncle.
Wow.
The guy who was John Wayne Bobbitt's great uncle is from Flint.
Oh,
his name
see?
is Dale. His name is Dale Bobbitt. That's a weird name though, Bobbitt.
I know.
See?
Dale Bobbitt.
Like a bobtail.
See, so just because I'm 5'2.5" and I'm in a room full of 6-footers, I'm still not taking that crap. I'm sorry. I'm a lady, yes, but if I have to, I'll kick you in the knee. But I'm not taking it.
She'll kick you in the knee. So now what would you say to anyone that thought that they want to get in the wrestling game, like they want to be a manager or whatever, and since you've done it, this is your second time around, how hard is it?
It's not easy. It's not a cakewalk. You're going to break your nails. You're going to sweat like a swine. I'm telling you, I went from like a size 18 or whatever I was. The pants I always would wear where I didn't know it, but the label in them were 18. And I told my trainer it was a 16, but actually it was a size 18. And I had to lose weight to get in those. And the more I trained, the more I went in. I'm picking up weight now, so I got an event in August, and I'm starting to train for that now. But I'm telling you, I trained. I worked hard. I sweated. I was in a ring with one 16-year-old and a couple 20-some-odd years old, and I had to keep up with them. And it's not easy. It's not, you hurt. It's like you've been body slammed by Hulk Hogan on one side and picked up, and body slammed by Mark Henry on the other side.
Wow.
It hurts. I would leave the ring and I would be walking, and then I would get in my vehicle. And by the time, I didn't even go all the way home. I stopped at the store to pick up some bubble bath, so I could, soothe my muscles.
Yeah.
And the store was just a couple miles away. I got out and I could not walk. I was like,
everything had frozen up.
Everything was locked up. It hurt. I was hurt from the neck down.
And you wouldn't think as a manager you'd have to go through all that, because when you see them like walking around the ring and screaming and yelling and snatching people's legs. See, I want to be one of the bad ones. I want to be up there the one holding legs through the room, distracting them over here while the other ones get beat up.
Yeah.
I'd like to be the bad girl manager.
You could be either or. It depends, on maybe the day or the manager or the time.
Whatever the match is.
Yeah, whatever happens in the match. But you, regardless if you're a good girl or a bad girl, you have to train hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's hard work. I'm not going to lie. I get in the ring with the guys, and for a while he was nice. The guys did 25 crunches and I did 10. And then the guys did, 25 push-ups and I did 10. And he's like, you know what you're doing.
That's not enough.
Give me 15. And I'm like, okay. So I did my 15. Oh, you really know what you're doing. Give me 5 more. And then after a while, it's like I was doing the same things the boys were doing simply because he knew I could and he wasn't going to let me take the easy way out. He pulled it out of me. So by the time it was over, it was the 4 of us in the ring. One had dropped out and the one was saying, okay, now when the trainer gets here, you will not be showing off this time. You will not be trying to make me look bad. And I'm like, I'm not trying to make you look bad. I'm just trying to keep up with him. And so the other guy, I could never catch him. And I didn't know that he had been to like national events and all this other stuff already. And I was trying to catch up with him. I was trying to keep up with him. And I got about the end of everything, I was within a hair of catching up with this guy. And then all the training was over, and it's like, I'll never catch him now.
So if you go in there and you have to do all of that just to be a bad girl or a good girl, I mean, I can imagine when you get home and you have a little girl, she's like, now let's play.
You know what? My little girl, I hate to say this, my little girl, my family, I'm wearing this hat because there's a squabble in my family. The elders in my family do not want me in this sport. They have stated that time and again, and they have been on me all this time, even since before I met you. They were on me. The elders were on me to get out of this sport. They did not want me in this sport, and so I'm wearing the hat as a compromise to somewhat conceal my identity to please the elders. But
so they don't want to be affiliated with you.
Well, I'm trying to
cover that face
appease them a little bit, but I've worked hard to get to where I am, and I don't want to just drop it. And so now that I have a daughter, and she sees what Mama does, and so after school program has recently opened up a new sport, and it's close to what I do. And she jumped in the first day, and she is the youngest girl. I thought she'd be the only girl in the room. She is the youngest girl in the room doing that sport, and I had to sign the waiver, and so I wrote my parents a nice letter and told them I'm writing you out of love and respect, and
so what do they think is, why are they against it? Because they think it's a man sport, or they think you're just going to get hurt?
They're saying it's because I'm going to get hurt, but my thought is probably because they're old school and women don't do that. That's my guess. I can't prove it.
Well, the thing too is, you could get hurt doing other things. You could walk out the door and trip and fall.
See, my father said, well, why don't you get her in martial arts? I said, we checked into that, but that's a bit costly and we can't afford it right now.
Right.
I said, but Dad, I've done martial arts before, and you get hurt in martial arts. I mean, if somebody does a bad technique, that's it, you're hurt.
Right.
Drag her off to the hospital hurt. So he said, yeah. So I had made a valid point, but,
still not good enough.
Still, he wants her out of that sport. He wants me out of this sport.
But tell them it's entertainment. It's a lot of fun. Everybody get to chant your name. Bella, Bella.
They're not hearing it. They're not hearing it.
Whether they chanting it for the good or the bad.
They're not hearing it. They don't want Bella ringside, good, bad, or indifferent.
So they've never gone to any of the matches?
They have not been to one of my events yet. I had a disc burned of all my events up to a certain point, and my father won't.
He won't look at them? Aww.
So I've tried to sneak it in on my mother to say, "See, Mom, girl power, girl power."
Right.
And it's.
Well, maybe if they just see an interview or something with you, they'll see how bad it's not.
Hopefully, but.
Then your little girl's gonna pop out with her little superpower suit on.
Oh wow, she's already all around the house putting Mama in chokeholds. So I have to keep training just to make sure I can keep her under wraps. If not, she's gonna take Mama down with a 3 count.
I know.
She's 7 and no boy. She's gonna turn on April the 14th. She's gonna turn 8, and I have to stay in training.
She's gonna outgrow you.
Oh. She's already up to here.
Exactly. Because my sister is 5'2", and all her kids are way taller.
I didn't get here to my mother until I was 11. She is here to me now.
At 8.
She's going to be 8 on the 14th of April. And so I have to keep training, because I got to keep her in check.
Yeah, because you won't grow anymore.
Yeah, I got to keep her in check because She's only going on 8, not 18 yet. She's not a teenager yet. So I have to be able to be the alpha female. Because when it comes time for kindergarten, first grade, she's in the second grade. She's already had boyfriends. So, and she's cute.
So they always have boyfriends.
She's got hair down to here. Oh no. I have got to stay in training. I have got to.
You got to fight off the boys more than anything.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Because they see that hair, they like.
Hair down. Her hair is here when I don't press it.
Right.
I mean, just wash it, put the grease on it, braid it or twist it up. It's here. Almost on her shoulder. Now, when I flat iron it, it's down. When I wash it, it's down her back.
Them little boys on, you got to watch them.
They are already after her.
Dad going to be standing at the door with the shotgun.
Daddy is an ex-Marine, okay? So
they don't want to mess with that.
Ex-Marine as a dad and a wrestler for a mom. Hopefully that's enough.
What a combo.
Hopefully that's enough to keep the boys away, but if it ain't...
They want to come in and do it now. You know, you could start a training camp. Once you become the magnificent trainer, you know, you can have them...
I ain't training nobody because I'm going to have to dust the floor with all of them if I have to.
Well, see, that'll be an example. You'd be like, well, come on, I'm going to teach y'all how to do this.
Wow.
This is what happens when you pop up at my door to see my girl. Whap! Dad, come on over here and show him a move.
Oh, man.
That would just be too funny.
That's what we might have to. We might have to.
So what kind of events coming up since you are do a lot of stuff in Saginaw? You got any events coming up anytime soon?
I'm with the Righteous Reverend Christopher Saint. I'm in his corner now, and we're going through a prayerful time with him right now. He's got some things going outside the ring, and so we missed the last event. And so the next event is April the 14th.
Oh, your girl's birthday.
Yeah. So right now I'm in communication with the Righteous Reverend, and I'm trying to propose different things we can do to secure him to the event, but it's not looking good. So if we cannot get him there for the 14th, then that will lead us into Cinco de Mayo. And Universal Wrestling Alliance always does a big shindig on Cinco de Mayo. So April the 14th and Cinco de Mayo show, whichever the day is closest to Cinco de Mayo. I don't know if he's going to do it right on the 5th or before. It's usually that Sunday. So I don't know if it's the Sunday before or the Sunday after, but...
Right.
Excuse me.
Now, you guys usually do mostly in Saginaw, or do they float around Michigan too?
Actually, I call it Saginaw because I have to take 75 north.
Oh, okay.
But it's technically in Bridgeport.
Oh, Bridgeport. Okay.
So it's in the...
so it's not at that arena, the Dow Center, or anything
no,
like
not
that?
yet.
Oh,
Well, maybe one day we will be there, but right now we're at the Knights of Columbus Hall on Williamson Road. In Bridgeport, Michigan.
And that's where all the events take place?
That's where it all happens. That's where the magic, that's where we throw down. That's where it happens.
So how long has this group been in effect?
I'm just coming in. I just got in with them. I was going to do the May event, Cinco de Mayo, last year, but I decided to wait and jump in May. I've been with them for a year, but they've been running for a while now. How long, I don't know. I forgot. He told me, but I honestly forgot. I am not one good with dates. That's why I have to write stuff down, because I forget dates. I mean...
Well, it would have been good if you could have brought one of them with you.
Oh, I talked with a couple of guys and let them know I'm going. So maybe next time I can bring some of the guys with me.
That'd be good, because I don't know that group at all. And if they're fairly new, help get the word out, spread it around. Because I haven't seen anything about them on Facebook or anything.
Yeah, well, they have a Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
And it's Universal Wrestling Alliance, and you can friend their page or like them.
Right.
And then also you can still, even if you can't find their page, you can come to my page, Bella Hayes, BellaHaze, Bella Hayes. And if you come up on my page, I will cut and paste the link and put it in your message or in your instant message, I guess. And then you'll have it and you can click right on it and go straight there, friend them or whatever you want to do.
Okay. Okay. Now, aside from being a wrestler, you have a day job.
I used to have a day job.
Well, you were going to school the last time we talked.
I am still in school.
Oh, okay.
What happened was I was certified through the state, and I tried. There's a big company here in Flint, and they have all the business, most of the business, and I wouldn't work for that company. I just didn't feel comfortable with them, and I didn't want to work for that company. And basically in this town, if you don't work for that big company, they squash you out.
Oh.
And so I had passed the written portion of my exam to get recertified, and I just needed somebody to work with me to help me get ready for the performance portion. And someone in that company said, don't help her. And nobody in this county would help me, not the city. Nobody in this county. I went down towards Detroit. I went up towards Saginaw, and I found somebody that was willing to work with me, and they began to work with me. And then the lady got frustrated, and she quit her job.
Oh.
So then I was back to not having anything. So my certification lapsed some time ago, and so I've been laid off from my Monday through Friday job.
Right.
Seeing that was coming on, that's when I started training for professional wrestling, so I could keep doing something until I could get my certification back up. And when she quit, that was like
stab in the heart.
The kiss of death for me. So at this point, I had to, the only way I could find somebody willing to, actually almost willing to train me, I had to go back to school full time. And right now I'm in school full time, complete with exams and homework and midterms and final exams.
Now, so what school teaches interpretations?
Is
it called interpretation? It's called
interpreting for the deaf.
For the deaf.
And I went through mine at first, and if I had my choice, I really didn't enjoy my stay there. And there were some personality conflicts, and finally I had enough, and I stood up for myself. And because I stood up for myself, even now it's echoed through the city of Flint, don't mess with her. She's a troublemaker. Oh! No.
Now I'm glad somebody else got that title beside me, Johnny.
I was getting jacked out of grades. I would do my assignments, and I would be voicing, and the person would just hold the pen and not highlight what I was voicing. Just numerous things were happening, and numerous things weren't happening.
Right.
And I got tired of just taking an E because I lost your script, or just take an E because this. And so finally I brought in a tape recorder and I put it up there, and amazingly I got an A on that last graded script because I brought in my own tape recorder. I made a copy and gave her a copy of my copy, and I got an A on that one because I stood up for myself. I got a title as a troublemaker. So when I decided to go back to school, I even swallowed my pride, and I was going to go back there, and nobody passed the emails, nobody passed the note, nobody was willing to help me. And there's another school here in the area, and I went there, and one of the people I was trying to avoid at the other school, they were in this program. I'm like, oh crap.
Does it ever end?
So I was just going to walk out. When I saw that person, I just started gathering my stuff, and the dean said, wait, put your stuff down. And so I put my stuff down. She said, shut the door. So I shut the door, and she turned blue in the face. Then she started talking. This lady talked her butt off, and then I told her I would think about it, and so I left. And then the other lady down the hall, I had done some work with some people she knew, and she's like, come here, I want to talk to you, let's go out in the hall. I'm like, oh, hope I don't get swats. And so she took me out in the hall, and she's like, now such and such, now you have goals and dreams for your family. Don't let one person chase you out of the goals and plans and dreams you have for your family. I know you can make it here. I know you can do this. Don't let one person cheat you out of it. I know you don't really care for this person, but anybody can change after 20. This happened almost 20 years ago, and I was still mad. Don't let one person chase you out of it. So reluctantly, I jumped in, and this past semester, it was a bit of a challenge, but it was a fun kind of time, and I did pretty good. The class I thought I was the class I was doing good in, I neglected that class studying for this class, and I did really good in this class, and it was another class, and I didn't know if the person was going to give me the grade that I had earned or not.
Right.
And they actually gave me the grade that I had earned, and so I was happy with it. And because I took the time away from this one to study for these, then this one suffered, but I was pulling a really good grade. So when I didn't do good on the final exam, I thought, all is lost. Lord, help me. In Jesus' name, help, Lord. I need mercy. I need favor. I need something. And that person, I didn't earn a good grade on that final exam, but because I had such a good grade before the final exam, it still washed out good. So God is good, and I still came out smiling like a rose.
Has anybody thought of like some programs you go to and you see people signing? You have any signers for wrestling? Do you think that would be a need?
That's what I was saying the first time I was here. When I approached the man from the other company, I had asked the person my brother had told me, you go in, you say this, and this. And I'm like, yeah, this is Flint. These things are hard here. This is a depressed city. You just can't go in and say that and come out with wrestling. So I went in chasing the contract, and he just wasn't buying in, and he was about to hang up the phone. So then I said, well, if all else fails, well, maybe one day I can become a manager. And that's when he took the bait. But I tried, and
they don't need any signers at wrestling. I think they do need them.
There are fans. Matter of fact, when I did some time over at MSD, and that's how I got along with some of the kids. At lunchtime, we would talk about our favorite wrestlers and their newest match and who they went up against, and they would tease me because of my favorite wrestler that I told you about, and
He's so bitter.
and so he would tease me about him, and so now my mind is on that.
See.
And so we would talk about wrestlers, and that was how I got in good with some of the kids over there. And I know there are some deaf folks who love wrestling. Yeah. But I tried to chase that contract, and there was no allotment for it at this time. But that don't mean that I'm going to give up on it.
Right. I could see you on the Jumbotron signing. Wouldn't that be cool?
I would love to.
That would be so cool. Because I know everywhere that you go, there's a need for something. Yeah. And so just like when they bring in the groups all from CMH and different things like that, they need that. They need that out like everybody else.
They don't always have it in the budget, but that don't mean there's not a need for it, like you said.
Right.
And yes, I will continue to chase that contract. Nobody else go after it. That's my contract.
You just told it.
I'm telling you, that profession is as competitive as professional wrestling.
Wow.
It is. I've been in the classroom where we had to get the credit hours, and there were girls that were like this close at the beginning of the semester, and a particular contract came up. Of course, we're doing this all for credit hours. We weren't getting paid for it.
Right.
And these two young ladies both wanted it, and the Bobbsey twins dressed the same, double dated, went to the casino together, did everything together. Bobbsey twins, this close, and they got to squabbling over that contract, and by the end of the next semester there was a PPO issued.
They weren't even talking.
They were fighting. Yes, ma'am. I'm not joking.
Goodness.
I am not joking. When we get off the air, I can give you names. When we get off the air,
that is crazy.
And that's the way it is. It is just that competitive. If you don't work for that big company, you got to fight for everything. And even in internship, we weren't going through the big company, so we had to fight for ours. And they went from being the best of friends to the best of enemies.
I didn't even think it was that competitive. How many people do you think around here actually does interpreting? Because we only have the one school.
We have the one school, but then those who graduate, they go on to get jobs, and they go on for training, or they go on to college, or they go for this, that, and the other. And they need interpreters out in their everyday world. Right. And actually, in the city of Flint, we have an overabundance of interpreters. I think we have more interpreters than we have deaf people here. If you were to leave here and go north of here or south of here, actually more south of here, I've gone south of here, and without certification at that time. I mean, I was striving to get it, But I could easily have picked up a $12 an hour job, $12.76 an hour, full time with benefits.
Wow.
Full time permanent. That's how much they needed people.
Wow.
And I was trained, so they were willing to work with me and help me do what I needed to do to get certified. But now the law has passed. They're working on. I mean, they're really sticklers on it, and there are cases on the desk. I don't know how high, at least this high. And they have gone out and cited people who have been out there interpreting without the credentials, and they have been reported, and they are facing either a fine of $1,000, jail time, or both.
Wow.
Or the company that allowed them to work, they're facing a $10,000 fine, or somebody's going to jail, or both, or whatever.
Both, or what?
See, so
I didn't think it was that serious.
Yes, because think about it, we're playing with people's lives. If a pregnant woman goes to deliver a baby or to have her gallbladder out, there needs to be an interpreter there. And that is specialized interpreting.
Oh, okay.
And
I guess I only thought about it as far as like the people that stand next to the president and just different things like that.
That is specialized. That is specialized interpreting. And you don't just go in anywhere. There's a special niche wherever you go. Medical and legal, those are the two top paid. And a lot of people want to do them because they pay good.
Right.
But you have certain certifications. You have to pass national certification. Then you have to get the national certification in that area. And everybody thinks, well, I'll just go in there and fling my hand a few times and come out with a good check.
Right.
And the deaf community is tired of it, and they're saying no. There have been people thrown in jail because the interpreter didn't do a job good. There have been people who have lost their vehicle, people who've gotten a divorce who didn't want one. There have been people, I was working, volunteering in an office when we knew this lady was going to go for a surgery. And I looked up at the clock. I'm like, yeah, it's such and such a time. So I started praying for the lady. And after a while, I stopped praying. Well, at 3 o'clock, the lady called and said, will you please tell such and such to get an interpreter here because the interpreter haven't showed up yet. Oh. The interpreter was supposed to be there at 9 or 8:30 in the morning for the surgery. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon and the interpreter hadn't showed up yet because she didn't feel like it.
Wow.
So, I mean, and this is medical. This is somebody's life.
Right, right.
And so the deaf community are saying, they've been saying for years, we want qualified interpreters for our events. If it's a medical, we want a qualified medical interpreter. If it's a legal setting, we want a qualified legal interpreter. Don't send us somebody here who's been interpreting school all day.
Right.
And who's been doing algebra with Johnny Jr. Get us somebody here who knows the legal language and who can interpret in a way so that we can understand it. And they've been standing up and saying this for years and years and years. And now there's a lady in Lansing named Cheryl Emery, and she's enforcing it. I hear the stacks are this high on the desk, and she's ready to prosecute. She's ready to throw people in jail. She's ready to do whatever to get them out of there.
Right.
So, and I'm not mad, but at the same time, because my certification lapsed, I cannot work at the full-time job I had finally got. Because people who had no training, they were getting the jobs. And I had full-time. I had trained. I had got my certification and still couldn't find work. Because people who hadn't been trained and didn't have certification had the jobs.
Wow.
So I'm not mad at them. But at the same time, now that my certification has elapsed, I have been trained. I have been certified. But I'm laid off. I can't do anything either.
Well, you just have to keep wrestling.
Like I said, so I began to train, and I became and it's just
from one extreme to the other with you. We just don't know about these 2.5 people.
And you see things when you're out interpreting. I'll put it this way: anything the cops deal with, you could get called in on. Even if you're not a legal interpreter, if they can't find all the legal interpreters and they're out of town and something happened and they have to have somebody now so they can get some kind of statement so that they can work with it when they finally get a legal interpreter, you might get called in and rape, murder, a beat down, anything. Any situation. And things are not always peachy. That's why they turn to the legal system. And I don't want to do legal work. When I become an interpreter, trust me, don't call me for the legal work. I don't want to. Don't call me for medical. That's not me. In legal, you're there because somebody did somebody wrong and they're trying to figure it out and get to the bottom of it and punish the wrong person. I'm not one of those people I can de-stress that easy. I take stuff home with me. I can't do legal. Don't call me for legal. Medical, I am not. Okay, I'm in professional wrestling, but I'm not one to be around a bunch of needles and beakers and
blood and gore.
Don't
more blood and gore.
More, I can deal with the blood the way it comes, but when you're talking about, okay, roll up your sleeve, don't call me. I'm not the one. So I can deal with blood a little bit. The first bloody match I saw live, not on TV, was between was at the Genesee County Fair. It was between Hades and Xavier Justice, and when I was fine with it when they were in the ring, and then when they came into the locker room, and I'm seeing this blood up close, and I knew it was real blood. It's like, excuse me.
I know.
And I tipped out. I could not take it. I couldn't take it. So that's why I'm outside managing. I don't want to be in the blood.
Well, I want to thank you for coming in today and telling us about your gigs and all the good stuff you're doing and running around here being managing and interpreting and, just a whole lot of fun stuff. So saying with events coming up, if you want to if you have any contact information or anything you want people to know about, any matches coming up, you can tell us and see what's going on.
Yeah. Like I said, for now, you can contact Bella Hayes on Facebook, and whatever information I find out, trust me, I post it there. I post the flyers. The flyers have the date, the time, the location, sometimes even who's going to be wrestling that day. So I post as fast as I get information in, I post it up. I'm not trying to hide the information. I let it go.
Right.
And one thing I like about it, there are different companies. And from different company to different company, you'll see different women looking different in different companies. And one thing I liked about the company I was in, I had control over my image. They encouraged me in certain things, but I had control over my image at the end of the day. And one thing I like about the company that I'm at, they're fine with the way I'm dressing now. They're fine with it, and I love it. As a mother, I have sat and watched professional wrestling on TV, and I've sent my daughter to bed because I didn't want her seeing the way some of those girls were dressing and the way they were carrying themselves. One thing I like about the company I'm in now, I can carry myself in a comfortable manner. I can dress in a way that I feel is appropriate, and I can let my daughter see that. My family won't be too happy, but I can let my daughter see the images, and it's nothing that I would want to hide from my daughter.
Right.
So I'm really happy with where I am. I'm enjoying it up there.
Well, I'm glad that everything has worked out with you, and we're going to try to get over to see one of the matches from the new group next time you post a flyer.
I'll see if you can ride up with me.
Yeah,
I'll take you right up with me. Excellent.
We can do that. So instead that, we're going to sign off of This is Flaminpit Part 1 show, and I want everybody to stay tuned because we have Part 2 coming up at 1 o'clock, and we have Rick Daniels coming up, who's head of Black Scorpion Boxing. So with that, Flaminpit, and we're signing off.